everyone, Joy McCarthy here, holistic nutritionist and author of Joyous Health, and I'm really excited today because I have an awesome guest with me, Kristen Ma, who is the co-founder of Pure and Simple, which is an organic skincare company. She's also an Ayurvedic practitioner, and she's the creator of holisticvanity.com, which is a fantastic blog. You have great articles on skin and natural health and beauty. I just love it. I remember years ago when I started reading it. So thanks for being with me today.
Thanks for having me.
So we're going to be talking about skin health and beauty as it relates to detoxification. So first I just want to find out more about your story. I know in your teens you dealt with acne, so could you, and you've never known now because your skin is so beautiful.
Thanks.
Could you just share a little bit more about that story?
Yeah, well, I actually suffered with acne for more than 10 years. So it was, a little bit before teens and a little bit after teens. So it wasn't just teenage acne.
Yeah.
And I started, I think, with an internal health imbalance that I wasn't aware of at the time. And instead, I took a really harsh and abrasive approach to my skin. I think a lot of people with acne, they want to overexfoliate, dry things out, and in turn, often damage their skin and make your skin more vulnerable to more breakouts. So it wasn't until I took a more gentle approach on my skin, as well as explored a more holistic view of health and understanding that my skin is an organ and that it is really my health is synergistic and holistic,
right,
that my skin started to clear up.
Amazing. So what are some outward signs of a body overburdened with toxicity?
Right. Well, as an esthetician, I see the first signs of toxicity in the skin. So this can be clogged pores, obviously breakouts, and also inflammation. So when your body is overburdened with chemical toxins, you can have a lot of inflammation because it's disharmony in the body. And this translates into things like rosacea and eczema, which is hugely common right now.
Yeah, which I used to suffer from as a teen and all throughout my 20s, and it was always during the times where I was the most stressed, and then I would eat the foods that were the comfort foods that weren't great for me, and I would get bleeding knuckles, I'd have like bleeding heels. It was awful. So how can detoxification improve skin health?
Well, I was talking about all of the sort of the results of having toxicity, like breakouts, inflammation, eczema, rosacea, which are inflammation, but they're chronic conditions. So detoxification is really a way to treat those things. Our skin is the largest organ in our body, and when we have imbalances, it's often expressed through our skin because it's one of the 3 avenues of detoxification, through the bowels, through the skin, and through the lungs. So if you want truly clear, beautiful skin, you have to start internally, and usually with a detox.
Great. And a lot of people get upset when they get acne or eczema, but when we were talking before we started filming, you were saying this is actually a good thing, that your body is providing you with a symptom that you can see.
Right.
And so that that there's an imbalance, and I really liked that take on it. So Kristen, any suggestions for foods or herbs that are great for skin health and detoxification from an Ayurvedic perspective?
Right. Well, from an Ayurvedic perspective, it's really important to individualize. Obviously, it depends on what energies and doshas are out of balance for that particular person. But my favorite sort of general herbs for skin are neem and turmeric. So neem is a great detoxifier. It detoxifies the liver and the blood feeds the skin. So this is really great for all skin conditions, but particularly for inflammatory skin conditions.
And how would you take that in?
You can take it as a tea.
Okay.
It's a bit bitter, so I like to take it or prescribe it in capsule form.
Gotcha.
Just because of the taste.
Great suggestion.
Yeah, but it also, like I said, is a great liver detoxifier, and turmeric is also a liver detoxifier and an anti-inflammatory.
Turmeric has such a mild flavor, and I think a lot of people get scared. They think it's going to have a very strong curry flavor, but it's like super mild, and I love turmeric. I use it in so many recipes. Now, what about water? I know a totally obvious one, but the number of people that I talk to and meet with, and I ask them how much water they're drinking, it's usually maybe 1 to 2 glasses, plus 3 to 4 cups of coffee.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, water is hugely important, and I probably should have put that as number one, because being hydrated is important. So your skin is hydrated, but also because that way things are moving through your body properly. If you're dehydrated, it'll lead to constipation and other sort of buildups in the body. So that's really important. I do find some people are not drinking enough because they don't like the taste of water.
So true.
Which is unfortunate because it's so important to
Yes.
all life. But I do recommend doing things like putting aloe vera juice in water.
Great idea.
Yeah, which is also a great detoxifying food.
I like slicing cucumbers or just like putting some fruit in. It just kind of, just making a little infusion. And kids love that too. Then they can eat the little blueberries at the end or the cucumber or whatever you put in. So lifestyle, such an important aspect of beauty is lifestyle. It's truly a holistic approach. So do you have any suggestions from a lifestyle perspective for detoxification for skin health?
Well, I think that a lot of people do a detox and they think about food and they think about herbal supplements or teas, etc. But I think that also the lifestyle component is really important. So there are two things that I think are really important when doing a detox. The first is to make sure you're not stressed out. So you're not detoxing while you're doing a ton of work or at the most stressful time at work, because your body really can't heal and regenerate and rebalance when it's under a huge amount of stress. So that's why I think that, with our facials that, it's important to treat the skin, but we do a lot of massage because it's also about taking that time to make sure the person is unwinding and de-stressing.
Yeah, so they have amazing facials at Pure and Simple. I actually have one booked with Janet next week.
Awesome.
The super hydrating one, which is great for me because I'm way more prone to dry skin, especially in the winter. So yeah, treat yourself, be kind to yourself. Any other lifestyle suggestions?
So the other thing that's really important is to move. So from an Asian medicine perspective, the liver really needs movement to be healthy. So yes, exercise and fitness is important, doing yoga, but I like the idea of doing things that are fun. So maybe dancing or, doing an activity like skating. Yeah, making your detox fun and, like I said, like a fun challenge rather than something that's going to be all about austerity.
Yep, I agree 100%. Do something fun. Inject fun into your day every day. And also just movement, walking more. You know, if you sit at a desk, for 7-8 hours of the day, like make sure every hour you get up and move. And if you're drinking more water, you have to get up and move because you have to go to the washroom. But I actually recently just started using this app on my phone. I forget what it's called. It has a little heart. And basically it tells me how many steps I take a day.
Oh, really?
And I am a very active person, but I find it very motivating. There was one day this week where I was here, there, and everywhere. I was just driving, I was speaking somewhere, and then at the end of the day I was like, oh my gosh, I only had under 1,000 steps. And then there's days where I have 10,000 steps, and I really find it so motivating to make sure you move every day. So something as simple as that, something as simple as walking is so good for you, and it really does help to reduce stress and help you feel better. So one final question I want to ask you, Kristen, because I think it's such a sensitive issue, is for those people who are dealing with acne or eczema or skin issues that others can see, do you have any suggestions for how one would deal with the self-esteem issues that might arise from that, or body self-image issues? Do you have any suggestions?
For sure. I think that skin is hugely emotional, and I think for me, what really helped was when I tried to separate acne from who I was.
I love that idea.
Yeah, looking at it more as an imbalance and an expression and sort of a motivator to examine your health and put yourself first, rather than thinking of yourself as someone who has a condition or something's wrong with you. So that was huge, and just that repositioning really made a huge difference in my life. Because I couldn't even look at people in the eye at one point. I was so sort of embarrassed about my skin, which is nothing to be embarrassed about. But I think from a more functional point of view, sometimes it's just about getting a really good mineral makeup and making sure you have, it's not a big deal. You have a pimple or a breakout, you put that on and just say, I'm not going to think about it today. And again, as long as you're not using something that's unsafe or has chemicals, I think that's, still a really positive way to go.
Yes, I agree 100%. And there are such great products out there. Do you have a favorite cosmetic or mineral type makeup that you recommend for those suffering from acne?
Well, we're a bit biased because we have the Pure Simple makeup, but there are great brands. So it's not just, Pure Simple's not the only option, but there are lots of great mineral brands on the market for sure.
Yeah, they're totally. I noticed a huge difference in my skin when I start. I mean, I've never suffered from acne, but just switching to using mineral-based cosmetics, what a difference. I honestly felt like I was like feeding my skin. And so yeah, it makes an amazing difference, and hopefully you can all see on the camera what amazing skin Kristen has. So thank you so much for coming today, and you can check out Kristen's blog at holisticvanity.com. You can also check out Pure and Simple at pureandsimple.ca for more expertise and wisdom. So thanks again for coming in. I really appreciate it.
It was my pleasure, Joy.
And thanks for tuning in. Bye.